Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. DDK here. I know it's been a minute since I've dropped a video, but it's been riding season here in East Tennessee. And I have recorded a few ride videos, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything with them. We'll see. What I'm going to talk about today is, of course, you see we got the bike lift pulled out. I don't have the bike up on the lift yet. But I've got a friend and neighbor coming down. Y'all will know him as Tweedledee. He's going to be coming down. We're going to be putting the bike up on the lift. And today we're going to be putting new front and rear suspension on the Ultra Limited. This is what I will be putting on. Will be the Suspension Technology Black Hills Edition. I did not purchase this, by the way, and it was not something that was sent to me by Suspension Technology. As of right now, this is a mystery. I don't have a clue who sent this to me. I'm at a loss for words. I'm very appreciative and very thankful for whoever did this. As of right now, I don't have a clue. I've been trying to figure that out. But this is the same suspension that I was going to be purchasing here in a few weeks. But to have it sent to me, that just, like I said, left me very speechless, and I'm so thankful and humble. Like I said, I'm just at a loss for words. Whoever it was that done this, thank you so much. This was something that was, that's a lot. I mean, that means a lot to me. I'd like to be able to thank you in person. And then someday maybe I'll figure out this mystery. But I wasn't the only one that was gifted this suspension from Suspension Technology. Y'all know him as Roadie Rides up in the Northeast, and I know you can't understand a word he says, but he's a good dude. But he also received some suspension technology, but he got the RT series, which is more geared to the racing type suspension. And there was a couple other people that's in our community and in our inner circle that received some custom dynamics lighting. I don't know who this person is that decided to gift all these things out, but I wish you'd let us know. But anyway, Tweedle's going to be coming down. We're going to be putting this rear and front suspension on, and hopefully we'll get that taken care of in a few hours and go out and put a few miles on it today. But this week is the Middle Tennessee meetup, and so I'm hoping to have this suspension already broke in by the time I get there this week, and look forward to meeting a lot of folks this week. I don't know when this video will drop. Probably will not drop before the Tennessee meetup. But anyway, I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of people out there this week. People that we all talk with each other in side chats and on live streams. Look forward to putting, to meeting these people in person, being able to shake a few hands, hug a few necks. But anyway, I'm waiting on Tweedle to get here, and we'll get this suspension put on, and I'll give you a review of it and tell you how I feel. Now, this is the first time I've ever ran aftermarket suspension. The suspension that I have currently on my bike is the factory suspension. And I'll be totally honest with you, and other people have heard me make the same statement. The stock suspension on my Limited is not all that bad. I've never ridden it on aftermarket suspension, so I don't really know what the difference will be. I'm hoping that it just floors me with the difference. but we'll see. But stay tuned. I'm gonna turn this off and wait for Tweedle to get here, and we'll get the bike pulled up on the lift, and we'll get started. I'm not sure if this is going to be an install video other than a couple of idiots hanging out in the garage trying to work on some suspension, but we'll see how it turns out. Thank you all for tuning in.
I was going to stick this right here. That way we got something we've already used.
All right, camera is rolling.
All right.
All right, we've already got it partially disassembled. We got the front fender off. Got the gas tank loosened up and slid back to where we could get the console, lower console here pulled out of the way, get to the fork bolts. Got the bags pulled off, side covers pulled off. I think we're about to the point we can raise it up on the lift. Did I tie wrap that?
Yeah.
Let me get that tie wrap right there.
Yeah, I need to put it right here.
Okay. Backs are done. Those were no problem. When you get ready to do your fronts, do yourself a favor. Be sure you have a 12-point 10mm socket, anti-seize grease, size 12 hex head, extension. I'm talking like at least 4.5 inches, the hex head itself, not with the socket. Or you'll end up doing like I done and just cut one brand new one off. What else did we forget? Oh,
anti-seize if you don't listen and wipe off the axle.
yeah, and the seal driver. So we have taken 2.5 hours to go and get 3 tools and traveled about 100 miles to do so. So do yourself that favor. If you're going to do front suspension, be sure you have the right tools. Some of these are not easy to find. Like I said, I just cut off a brand new Icon Allen head socket because this would not fit down in the end of the fork because it's too big around. So you need to have at least 4.5 inch extension. Doc Harley told us that, but that's the only thing that we could find in the Knoxville area. And I don't live in Knoxville, so we've been doing some traveling. So anyway, Tweedle's got this one somewhat pulled apart. Do have the fork oil poured out of it. He kind of acts like he knows what he's doing, but I really don't know.
A wise man would say, if you don't know what you're doing, do it fast.
Okay. As you can see, the bike is put back together. It's back in the shed. Front end's back on it. Apologize for not picking up everything on the video from when we were doing the install, but I just hit the record button and let it go, and there's probably about 2.5 hours worth of footage there. So a lot of it was just us standing around and looking silly. So there's no sense in putting all that on there. I just put a few of the clips in there and sped it up, put a little bit of music to it, just so you'll see that we actually did the work. But like I said, the suspension is done. We had the Tennessee meetup this past weekend, so right now I have about close to 700 miles on the new suspension, and over 600 of it was just from the Tennessee meetup, and most of that was interstate running. So my thoughts on this Black Hills Edition suspension is quite an improvement over stock. Now, I can't tell you this is the best suspension that you can ever put on a motorcycle, because this is the first aftermarket suspension I've ever tried. But I will say, compared to stock, it's quite a bit better. I'll give you a couple examples, and it's the best way I know how to try to explain the before with the factory suspension and the after. You know how when you're going down an interstate and you'll have an interstate bridge, there's a couple of different scenarios when they run that asphalt up to the edge of the bridge. Sometimes it's really smooth and you don't feel anything in that transition. Sometimes you'll have like a little dip as you're going up to the bridge, and then sometimes it's just a flat out difference in elevation and it's just a big bump. So in the scenario with the factory suspension, where you hit the little dip, on the factory suspension, you'd hit the dip and you'd come out, and the best way I can describe it is like being on a boat out on the lake in wavy water, when your boat's just kind of rocking with the waves. And with the factory suspension, that's what it felt like, and it would do it for several feet, probably 10, 12, 15 feet or so. once you hit that little dip like that, it would just bounce up and down before it would level back out. With the suspension technology, Black Hills suspension, you now hit that little dip. Yes, you still feel the little dip, but as soon as you come up out of the dip, that's it. You're no longer on waves. The difference where it's just completely offset, and you have a noticeable difference. I mean, it's just a big bump on that transition. The factory suspension, to me, you would hit it and it'd feel like my tailbone is coming out of my neck bone, or out of my neck, I mean. And would feel almost like the bike would bottom out. I got a bad back, so it's kind of painful when it does that. With the aftermarket suspension, I now hit that. I'm not going to say you don't feel that bump, because you do. I mean, you still know you hit a bump, but I don't feel like the bike is bottoming out, and I don't feel like my tailbone is coming through my neck. It's like it takes that out of it, at least for me. So that's about the best scenarios I can give you as far as that. But now, as far as the front suspension, the one thing I noticed with the front suspension, I mean, as soon as I pulled it out of my driveway, the bike feels like it's on a rail. It just seems to handle so much better. It doesn't nosedive nearly as hard. I mean, you'll still get a little bit of nosedive, but it's not much. Going in curves, man, it just literally feels like the bike's just glued to the road. Now that's not to say that once you put the suspension on here that you can start riding beyond your means, because you don't need to do that. But to me, it just felt more secure when you're laying it into a curve. It's hard to explain until you try it. So my thoughts overall on this suspension is it is a great improvement over the factory suspension. I'm completely happy with this. And so would I recommend this suspension? Absolutely, I would recommend the Suspension Technologies Black Hills edition. Now, I can't speak for the RT series and some of their other series that they have, but as far as the Black Hill series on a touring bike, it made a phenomenal difference to me. And if you run that suspension, leave a comment and tell me what you think about it. But as far as the mystery, it's exactly that. It's still a mystery. To this point, I still do not know who sent this suspension to me. And I would still really like to know. Because like I said, I would like to personally thank you for doing it. But now I do know where it came from. It was purchased through H2 Performance. And that I do know. So hey, go give them some love. Go out and check them out if you're in the market for some suspension. But like I said, the trip this weekend down to Middle Tennessee on this suspension was like I said, it was an absolute different feeling ride to it. I could definitely say that it would extend my riding day if I was going on the trip. It made that much of a difference. But no complaints so far. The one thing I will say is if you're going to tackle this, just like I mentioned earlier in this video, there are a couple of tools that you need to make sure that you have. And you can see Tweedle and I are not motorcycle techs. We're not even what I would consider motorcycle mechanics. And between the two of us, we managed to get this suspension on. We might have made a phone call or two to H2 Performance and talked to Drew. And we may have talked to Dr. Harley a time or two, which he done 2 suspensions the same day that we installed this, he installed Roadie's RT series suspension, front and rear, and Corey's Black Hill suspension, front and rear, by the time Tweedle and I got this installed. But now, to our defense, we spent a lot of time. We spent just as much time running around trying to pick up a couple of tools as we did actually doing the install. But it can be done. Don't be afraid to tackle it. I'm not going to say it's the easiest thing in the world to do, but it is certainly not the hardest thing to do. I believe if you've got common mechanical skills and can turn a wrench, and I think you can do this install. But I think that's about all I've got to say on it for now. I'm going to do some more writing on it. I may follow up with another review at a later time, but as of right now, I mean, I'm completely happy. Like I said, it made a world of difference in how it rode. I just felt better when I come off of it, I guess I should say, more than anything. Like I said, it can definitely extend your riding day. But thanks for tuning in. Like I said, if you've got this suspension and you've got comments, just throw them down there and let everybody know what you think about it. But I'm gonna end this here, and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you.